So Manohar, what exactly you mean? I'll let you know. Okay, so what we will do, probably if you have a very specific questions, right? You can raise your hand. At the end of the session, I would like to cover all your queries. Okay, so probably we could cover the voice as well as the chat also. Okay, if you want to have any quick queries to be answered, you can keep them in the chat, right? And then if you want to wait and ask certain questions and then you want to get it clarified, you can raise the hand. I'll address all your questions at the end of the session. Okay. Okay. So let's get started. So this is advanced generative AI with agentic AI as well, right? So I think you might have been hearing a lot of buzz in the market, right? Generative AI, ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, whatnot, MCP servers, right? And then RAG application, right? Don't worry about the terminologies. Just these are, there are a lot of lingo or lot of terminology you might be hearing in the open market, right? So we would be covering extensively on the generative AI and agentic AI in this specific course. Okay, so before going and jumping into the course and the contents of the course, let me give you whereabouts, right? Means how long the session would be and what we would be, how we would be taking this session, right? And then how you can refer these sessions, right? And then how you will get these materials, right? And then how the assignments or certain capstone projects or any other your projects or how you can reach out to me or to the admin team, right? All things would be covered. Okay. So, and then, yeah, somebody asked prerequisites also, we would cover the prerequisites as well. Okay. So let's get started with the course session, right? So this will be 1.5 hour a daily. Okay, so probably it may extend 10 minutes, it may extend 15 minutes here and there, but yeah, so conceptually it will be 1.5 hour. Okay, and then it will be from Monday to Saturday, but Monday to Friday is the live session, and Saturday you will be given an assignment or a task, right? It could be a small assignment starting with the course, right? But when gradually we are going through the course, you will be given certain projects. And then along once we complete a one concrete concept on that particular concept, I will be giving a project. So you need to perform that particular project and you need to submit the project. Okay. So how you will submit and all I would cover shortly. Okay. Is it clear? Is it clear all of you? Okay. Okay. So now the next part is what is the course content and what are the different topics will be covered as part of this, right? So once after that one, I would cover the prerequisites. Okay, so let's see the course content. Okay, so before getting started with the course content, let me introduce myself. Okay, I am Prudhvi. I've been working in IT from past 20 years. Okay, still I'm working in a one very big reputed firm as a vice president of AI. Okay, so I've been handling different projects in machine learning and data science, and then I've navigated my career with computer vision, and then I worked in a lot of NLP projects. But after the emergence of ChatGPT, we never expected a NLP could be this much big stream. Really, believe me or not. So we never expected NLP could be this much a kind of a big arena or big area where we would figure out ourselves these many topics, right? So because when I see back the 6 years or around 5 years, so we haven't imagined this much of advancements comes as part of a generative AI. There were there certain models, but not to the extent what we are seeing it today, right? So I've been handling, so from almost 6 years, 5 to 6 years, where we have been handling different projects. Even I have developed foundational LLM models, even fine tuning the models to cater different use cases, right? Building from chatbots to building certain agentic AI applications for fintech or in multiple domains, right? This is a quick intro about myself, right? I have been handling different batches within Naresh Technologies, right? I've been handling data science and machine learning, and then in the data science and machine learning, it's a full stack course, right? We start from basics of Python, advanced Python, and then we handled data science and then machine learning. Even we cover the computer vision and certain portion of NLP and basics of generative AI in that course. So now, as a lot of students coming to us and asking and seeking more advanced generative AI and agentic AI course content, we wanted to expand our course to this specific course, which is maybe you might have seen some generative and agentic AI courses here and there, but this course will extensively cover and brings you the real-time applications and real-time projects to deal with, right? Or on how in real time those are being handled and how in a large scale these projects are being handled at the big enterprises, right? So now, after covering my introduction, right? So I would be quickly giving you the what we would be covering, right? So, but before starting with that, let me cover kind of a prerequisite so that you can understand what kind of a basic things you should carry before starting this course, right? So generally, this particular course is designed for advanced generative AI and agentic AI, right? So we are expecting certain pre-skills this particular group will hold, right? One is the Python, obviously, because with the whole course is being is being created, right? And then would be delivered based on the Python, right? Obviously, there could be different frameworks which I would be covering, right? But predominantly, the programming language you should know is a Python, right? At least you should know basics of Python, like how to create a how to install Python, right? What kind of environments you can create, right? And then basics of like variables, loops, right? If you know these basics, that should be fine. But at least you should know how to get started with a Python. Okay, that is one. The second one is nothing else. Nothing else will be required from your side. Everything else I would be covering. Probably you need a very minimal basics about if you have some basics around data science, machine learning, or deep learning or neural networks, right? That is a plus for you. But even you don't know the neural networks to some extent, you would be able to understand this particular course. But if you know neural networks, certain topics, like for example, I would be covering a transformers architecture, which is a core. Probably I'll discuss a little elaborately, but that particular content you will be understanding more when you know the neural networks. Okay, but don't worry, Viral, if you have a very slight idea also, you should be able to cope up with the course. Okay, any queries so far? Yes, job support service will be provided. So, like you rightly pointed, it's a support, right? So you will definitely be given a lot of support, right? Even for the labs also, we have a our assistant team, right, who would help you if you want to perform certain projects or if you want to do certain labs, right? They will guide you. So I will give you the point of contact, right, so that you can reach out to them so that they will give you enough support. And then for the job support specifically, right? So as we will be doing around 4 capstone projects, you can pick of your choice, right? But once you know go through this particular course and perform these capstone projects very seriously, then obviously you get a very good job. I'm pretty confident on that. Okay, how you can access lab, I'll cover that person now. Okay, job opportunities with this course, I will cover all that also. Okay, Now, coming back to what discussion we have. Okay, so the part of prerequisites, you will be knowing the Python, right? And then you would, if you know the neural networks, it is an advantage for you because you can deep dive into the networks, or you can deep dive into the models, and then you can understand better. Maybe certain topics you may need neural network as a mandatory, but if you skip 1 2 topics, the neural networks is also not a mandatory. But if you know, that is a very good add added addition or added advantage for you. Okay, so now let's cover what kind of a job opportunities we have, right? And what kind of jobs will be part of this, right? And then somebody might have questions like, if I don't know the Python, if I don't know the data science, if I don't know the machine learning, if I don't know the neural networks, so how could I cope up with this course? Okay, let's cover that one also. So before covering that, let me cover the course content so that you get some kind of a view what would be covered in this, right? And then I would be showing certain contents of the course where you need what kind of a skill set, so that you can map your skill set with the course content, and then you can decide how you wanted to take it forward. Okay, so I hope you are able to see my screen, and the syllabus is popped up on my screen. Is it visible for all of you? Okay, yes, that's a Word doc, right? And I have a specific brochure getting prepared. I'll share the brochure also with all of you so that it will give you much more clarity other than this particular doc also. Okay, so let's see now. A lot of people might have told you what is generative AI, what is agentic AI. Everything is moving towards agentic AI, right? And you might have been hearing that because of agentic AI, a lot of big firms, right, are removing jobs because they could able to automate a lot of things, right? How could they able to achieve that, right? Everything will be discussed as part of this. How come the generative AI is prevailing across different domains and how it is helping the enterprises? At the same time, why the job market is become very dicey, right? Is it really dicey? Probably yes, probably no, right? I will discuss why it is dicey, for whom it is dicey. Okay, and the next thing is fundamentals of generative AI, because if we are going deep to understand the generative AI, you need to understand certain basics of generative AI. Okay, so I hope if you know Chat GPT, right? Obviously everybody know because my son, which is in a school, right? He knows ChatGPT and he does his homework with ChatGPT, right? I don't think nobody in this group don't know ChatGPT. Wouldn't be knowing the ChatGPT, right? Everybody must be familiar with ChatGPT at least, right? But the backend intelligence is given by some model, right? Which we call as a LLM, right? Which is a large language model, right? So you need to understand what that means, how it get learned that particular intelligence, how it delivers that particular intelligence, right? How it will get trained, what are the components to train that particular LLM would be covered as part of this, right? And then the core backbone of the LLM, right? So to name one LLM which is being used for the OpenAI is a GPT-4 or O3 mini, or there are multiple models, right? If you go to video model, there is a Sora model, and there is a, from a Gemini there is a VO model. Okay, let me write on the screen as well so that even you can't capture my thing, you can. Okay, so there is a VO model for Gemini. So recently you might have seen lot of videos coming in, right? So these are all getting created by these kind of a models. Okay, and then on top of these are the proprietary models. Proprietary means it is owned by certain company. The code and all the ownership lies to one specific company or organization. But there are some open source models also, right, which we could use and we can own by ourselves. right? To create videos or audio or images, whatever, right? So that backbone architecture will be discussed over here. Okay, clear? So what is generative AI? What is agentic AI? From generative AI, how we evolved as an agentic AI and how the agents are being consumed or created with as part of agentic AI. That will be elaborately discussed. And then we need to understand the underlying technology, how this generative AI is getting created and how the intelligence is coming to that particular model. Okay. And then we will be seeing working with LLMs, because once you get to know the backbone of it, you need to understand what are different LLMs are today, like open source or closed source. Closed source means, as I mentioned, it's a proprietary, right? So how could we use certain models, right? So one of the big platform like a Hugging Face, for example, a marketplace, right? Generally we say marketplace, let's say Apple Store, right? Or a Google Store, where you see a lot of apps, right? Where you can go and download the app and you start using it, right? Similarly, Hugging Face is one of the platform where a lot of models are available. Okay, you can pick up those models and how you can use those models, what different things would be part of model, all these things would be explained here, how to consume those models from this particular platform or a ecosystem. Okay, and then I just want to cover certain models in all different modality. What is it? Probably if you want to take a notes, please take notes. Okay, modality. Modality is one like a medium, right? One is a text. You can talk to the model in text, right? You can talk to the model through voice. You can have certain things with image. You can work with videos, right? So these are the different mediums. In technological terms, we call it as a modality. What is the modality you will be working with models? And then as we cover more than one modality, we call multi-modality LLMs. Okay, so those certain models I would be covering as part of these LLMs, so that you have a gripping idea on what kind of LLMs and how you could consume those LLMs at a high level. Okay, the next one is a prompt engineering, right? So this is what you might have seen in YouTube, right? So I have learned AI. I have been paid 50 lakhs, 60 lakhs. All the bluffing ads will come, right? So they are actually referring this prompt engineering, nothing else in the AI. Okay, that means if you know what is prompt engineering, right? So many people have a lot of jobs in with just prompt engineering itself. Okay, what is meant by prompt engineering? It is like how you guide the model to work. Okay, how to perform, what is the input for it, what is the output for it, and how you can control the particular model. That is nothing but your prompt engineering. Okay, there are multiple topics in the prompt engineering, right? There are different parameters which are like a levers are like a, let's say you have a radio, right? You have some buttons to turn, right? These are the different kind of levers which you can control the model behavior. Okay, and then there are different APIs. The predominantly used APIs in the enterprise like OpenAI. So this is not ChatGPT. ChatGPT is an interface basically. OpenAI again come up with a different API. Okay, what do you mean by API? For example, you have created one functionality as a black box. Okay, this is a functionality. So somebody want to use this particular functionality, right? So simply to say, it is a demarked with the URL, and this URL will be consumed in your application. Okay, this is the consumer application. Let's say I need a weather report. Okay, what you will do? Somebody might have created some weather report analysis model or some sensor. It will kind of observe the weather, and then those details will be provided through a URL to your application, right? So this mechanism is called API. So I'm just covering if somebody don't know API, but predominantly if you come to the advanced generative and agentic AI, you might be knowing what is API. Okay, we would be covering more predominantly used APIs. One is OpenAI, right? And then Google Gemini, and then the Anthropic, which is a Claude. Okay, I think you must be aware of this. Gemini, Claude, you might be knowing, but some people might not know because Claude is not that famous in the uh, consumer community, but in the enterprise it is very famous because Claude is being used a lot of code based systems because these models are specifically trained on code. Okay, let's see certain questions if you have any before jumping into the next module. Okay, what is COT? Okay, like REST API, yes, Lakshmi Prasad. I would cover Ben Anderson. I would cover what is COT. Okay, Ben Anderson, Claude means Mina. Yes, I didn't get your question, Anderson or Ben. So COT is one of the technique. Okay, for example, how you think? Let me quickly give you one quick example. Let's say I ask you to go from here to New York, for example, India to New York. Okay, so then what you would do? You would create lot of thoughts as a chain of thoughts, right? Let's say first one is you need to prepare the plan, right? And then you need to get the visa, and then you need to book your tickets, right? And then you need to flight or book some hotel or to some accommodation, something, right? So everything is linked, right? So that is a chain of thought. So you have some thought, and then you have to map each and every thought. Similarly, your model need to think and prepare a plan how it has to execute your commands. As simple as that one. But I will expand that chain of thought. We have a dedicated session on how the COT and React kind of a prompt engineering techniques comes in picture. Okay. So Kiran, if you don't have a programming experience, it might be a little hard for you. But if you want to know the basics of how the generative AI and how you can do the build certain chatbot applications, you can. But I being honest, it might be little challenging for you to get to this because this is an advanced generative AI and agentic AI program. I would need a little bit of introduction to at least any programming language. Okay. And then, yeah, Shravan, can we create our own LLM? Absolutely, Swanish. You would be creating your own LLM. Basically, if you want to create your own LLM, we can create a small size because to train the LLM, right, you need heavy computational power. If we have computational power, we could do. On top of it, there are multiple levels of LLM tuning, right? Basically, even in the enterprise, we are not creating a foundational model. Foundation model is creating the model from a scratch. Like for example, I'll tell you small model may need 500 GPUs or 1000 GPUs, which may cost you billions of dollars or millions of dollars at least, right? That's why what we do, we take any open source model. On top of it, we'll perform a lot of different fine tunings. Okay, unsupervised, supervised, right? Or pre-trained, sometimes we call them as a pre-trained model, and then we do the unsupervised and supervised. On top of it, in trainings also, there are different levels of fine tuning we can do by using different techniques called LoRa, QLoRa, which would be part of this course. So yes, to your question, yes, you would be knowing how to create your own LLM, provided you have a more computational power. On top of it, you would be knowing how to tune those models to fit your use case. Okay. Difference between COT and workflow. Yeah. Amarnath, workflow is a kind of a steps only, but COT is how you create that particular a planner for the model to execute its ask or a goal. Okay, that's a technique. More or less, workflow is what it will create by itself. But how you create workflow, right? By create workflow, your brain is thinking, right? What to be followed after what. That particular creating that plan or creating that workflow is nothing but COT. Okay. What are the difference between generative and advanced generative AI? I'll discuss this with you, Mitesh. What is the real use of GenAI in our real corporate project? Okay, I'll discuss that one. If you want to create our own LLM, is there anything to pay for LLM like OpenAI, etc.? Need our own LLM, is there anything to pay for LLM like OpenAI, etc.? You can create your own. I'll let you know how the LLMs are getting created, right? At least I'll show you the layers of LLM, right? That's where the transform architecture, which I was covering in the module 2, right? You would be knowing what different layers of the model will be and how you could do or how you understand that particular model. Okay. For agentic AI, are we going to use Python or Java? Say Python. As I initially mentioned, Deen Dayal, we will be using Python across this course. As part of generative course, will you be teaching creating agents in Copilot Studio? We'll be using creating a lot of agents using different frameworks. Copilot, I may give you certain guidance, but this is not intended for Copilot Studio. This is intended for different other frameworks like LangChain, LangGraph, and different other frameworks are there. Okay. So will we cover Streamlit, Fast API, cloud deployment? I think these are the outside, but while we are creating certain projects, these would be inherently covered. Okay, but there is no specific session to see how the Streamlit, what are the functions you could cover like that, not like that, but specifically because when we are deploy our LLMs or our models, these will be inherently covered. Zero knowledge on Python before planning for AA course. Is it mandated to learn first Python? Absolutely, Kolai Reddy. Sorry if I mispronounce any one of your name, but yes, Python is required for the advanced course. Okay. It's like, can I drive a car? Yes, you should know a driving, right? So Python is like a navigator for you to go through. At least you should know one programming language, which is nothing but Python over here. Okay. So if you know C sharp, probably while we are discussing, you would quickly understand. But when if you could run parallelly with me and understand the syntaxes of it, then you should be able to cope up, right? So that now what you could do, you can start the Python basics. Like it won't take more than 4 or 5 days. You can easily understand Python. Okay. Sir, is GPT 4.0 can be cloned or in frozen state? So GPT 4.0 they haven't exposed outside. You can't even do it anything. It's a closed source. Okay, only up to GPT 2.0 they have open sourced. Means that you know how the layers and what kind of a parameters are the model. Okay, I'm not going deep because when I say parameters and all, a lot of people may not understand because they are new to this. Okay, I'm using Java full stack developer. This course is suitable for me. So who are all having certain programming background, or if you don't know any programming language, right? I sincerely advise you to take my course or any course, right? There is a specific course for Python or data science and machine learning course, full stack data scientist course. So you please start with that course so that you will be ready for this particular course. Okay. So because to write a big story, first you need to learn the grammar, right? So like that, if you want to build this advanced generative and agentic AI application, you need basics of some programming language, which is nothing but Python. But Python is very easy to learn and to know than any other programming language, to my knowledge, because I started my career with almost C, C++, right? I learned Ruby Rails and SQL, even SQL language, and then I know little bit of .NET, C Sharp, some extent Java or core Java, right, and Python. But Python is such a easy language and what a powerful language among all. Okay, so if you want to create your career in AI, to simply say Python is a must. Don't take me wrong, but if you want to build your career in AI, Python like a must to have. Okay, are we going to cover the LangGraph in detail? Yes, that those modules will be covering in Probably I'll put a small hold here, and then I'll come back to your questions, right? Because I need to cover a few more modules and show you what would be covering as part of this course. Okay, I hope that would be okay. I'll continue after Nikhil Rangari's question. Any exposure to use LLM on cloud like AWS, Azure, or GCP? Yes, we would be using the LLMs from these platforms. Okay, so let me see. The next one is the RAG, right? I hope if you know, right? So this is the application what 80 to 90% of the enterprises are building their applications by using RAG. Okay, why it is that much important? What are the different components of the RAG? How this RAG helps other than simply using a LLM, right? Why should I use a RAG in first place, right? So all the components of it I would be covering in detail within this particular module. Okay, and then let's say if you build this particular system, how you can evaluate the system. Okay, all that will be covered as part of this module 5. So module 6, then I would be deep diving into the RAG system, because to some extent, let's say 80% or 85%, you can achieve your application or project. But beyond to achieve certain level of accuracy, right, you need advanced RAG. Let me tell you one simple example. Let's say, I don't know how many of you are from healthcare, right? Let's say in healthcare, you are doing a documentation for your clinical research. Okay, what is meant by clinical research? Let's say you see the paracetamol, right? To develop paracetamol, they might have killed thousands of animals, thousands of people also maybe, right? We don't know what happened. But while doing that one, they do a lot of research around what components to be added. Okay, paracetamol is a molecule basically, right? But you see Crocin, Dolo 650, all these are the companies are the brand name, right? Paracetamol is a molecules. If you know azithromycin or ambroxol, hydrochloride, something, right? These are all molecules. They'll do thousands of combinations with the thousands of measurements, right? Then only they could able to find what is uh, a final a compound to prepare that particular molecule, right? And then whatever tablet you take, right, that is all powder only. In that powder you will have a one very small milligram of actual compound, right? Whatever you take medicine is not a medicine actually. You are taking a lot of powder along with your molecular compound, right? Okay, coming to our topic. So for that one, they need to submit a report to the FDI, right? So sorry, FDA, right? For that, they'll need to submit a lot of document. Within the document also, they need to keep a lot of minute details. Even let's say if it is 4 milligram, it is 4.5 milligram, gone. Your medicine is gone, people would die, right? So if you need that specific refined applications, your system to be that accurate, right? That's why we need to build much more advanced systems in by using this advanced RAG patterns. Okay, so I would be covering multiple. So graph RAG, self RAG, corrective RAG and all. If you already know RAG, probably these might look more advanced for you. Okay, so to build the graph RAG, I need to guide you on certain databases, because it needs the information needs to be stored in the as part of a graph. You might be knowing what is a graph, right? Let me tell you. So let's say a graph is like, you might have seen something like this, right? So your information will be part of your graph, which is called nodes, and then the edges. Probably I will cover little elaborately in that session, but I'm just giving you whoever is curious, right? So we'll be building or how the information can be spread across this kind of a structure. How we can do that? All things will be covered here. As part of this, we will be learning certain graph databases, right? And then we'll be knowing how the real-time enterprises would deploy these graph databases to achieve the accuracy of the use case or a solution. Okay. So now the most interesting part is a LangChain framework. You might have heard about LangChain framework. So this framework will expedite you to do lot of application creation rather than building your own custom code. They have given certain pieces which you can build your LLM applications pretty easy. Okay. And then obviously agentic AI, probably when I cover what is generative AI, what is agentic AI, what is the core difference between these two, then you would understand what are the core principles of agentic AI. But you think, let's say you want to build a healthcare system. Probably let me pick up some other domain as we have already covered healthcare. Let's say you want to build some banking application, or let's pick up the stock prediction. What you need to do for the stock prediction, let's say now you want to buy a stock. What you would be doing? Sir, some friend has given me advice. I invested 1 lakh there. Then your 1 lakh become 10,000, or if you are lucky enough, it will become 2 lakhs or 3 lakhs. If you are lucky enough, right? Most of the times, 80 or 90% you will lose money, right? I am the only uh, scapegoat who bought like that initially. Okay. So what happens in the start? So what you do? First, you need to see in which area you want to invest, right? So there are multiple things. I am not sure whether you are aware or not. There are equities, there are mutual funds, right? There are different F&O, there are different areas where you want to invest, right? And then let's say if you want to say equity is nothing but a stock. Okay, let's say you want to invest in a probably Wipro. Okay, then what you need to do? You need to see how Wipro is performing, right? From past 6 months or 1 year, whatever timeline you have. And then you need to see how the stock price is. And then what are the future enhancements coming from Wipro? What are the projects they might have in a couple of months, right? Then only the stock price will increase, right? So you need to observe the second one, right? First one is to see the stock price. Second one is to see their future enhancements or future projects, right? And then what is the sentiment of the market? Because today what's happening? The great American president announced something, then market collapse, right? Or somebody else will announce something, it will collapse. So you need to see the sentiment of the market also. It's not just the company, it's not just their advancements or investments, right? You need to see the market sentiment also, right? So there are different components what you need to see just to invest in one stock, right? Now, how I can create a system autonomously, look at all these things and suggest you in which stock to invest, right? That all will be part of your agentic AI. There are different things like no code platforms. Let's say you need not to write any code. There are certain platforms like Na10. You just need to drag and drop and create certain workflow so that your application will get created. Or but in the obviously if you have certain things as a some pre-built components, you might not have that much flexibility to create your own required application, right? That time you go for a code first also. There are different frameworks, different platforms which we would be covering as part of this very deeply, right? And you understand the basics of it, then we will build the components out of it, and then we build projects out of it, right? These are all different principles how to build those kind of a systems. Okay. And then somebody was asking, do we have a deep dive sessions on the lang graph? Yes, we do have a very deep dive sessions on the lang graph. And why can't I use only the lang chain? Why should I go for a lang graph, right? And when should I go for a lang graph? That is very, very important because a lot of people still I see, though they are building applications, they still get confused when to use a lang chain, when to use lang graph. What is the advantage of lang graph, right? And then we will be deeply discussing how you can create different workflows, how you maintain different memory and all of that. Okay, need not to worry. We'll discuss all these things in detail by covering the core concepts, because once your foundation is very strong, then you yourself can understand a lot many things. Okay. And then, yeah, before going for module 10, Let's park and see what kind of questions we have. Let me cover after Nikhil. Rakesh, Prakash, can agentic AI fix bug automatically by understanding the Jira issues? Absolutely, Rakesh. It's already built. It's not a new thing what nobody knows. It's not a rocket science these days. Okay. I think Google or somebody has already implemented in their form. Can we say that COT is nothing but a procedure? Don't worry, Satyam. So the what is COT, how you can get that COT also, we'll discuss deeply. But you simply think COT is the way how we think and how we build our thought process, right? That is nothing but COT, chain of thought. Thought, how you will add your thoughts in a chain so that you can achieve your goal. Okay, sir, will we integrate cloud in our project as well? Yes, we can, we would use. Sir, how much Python? Mitesh, how much Python? Probably as I mentioned, you know how you can run Python, right? How you install Python basically, how you install different modules, how to use modules, right? And basics of like variables, if conditional statements, like loops, and then loops. And then if you know certain basics, that is more than enough to understand Python. But if you can, my gut feel is if you already know some Python, some language, not even Python, you should be able to cope up in 5 6 days, not more than that. Okay, can we learn Python parallel if you know core Java? Yes, absolutely, Mohammed. Any insights will be discussed in line with SAP and AI. SAP with the AI, I didn't get you, Sridhar. But what you get, say, let's say SAP, you might have certain modules, right? Per se, SCM, CRM, right? Or HR, HRBP, right? There are multiple modules in SAP. Maybe you can, while we are discussing these concepts, I will be bringing in a lot of real-time experiences, right? Because I have been working on different domains, so I can relate these concepts to certain domains, so that you can relate how AI could be implemented at your modules or in SAP or to be in Salesforce or whatever, right? So I will use TensorFlow and PyTorch. Arjit Sai, so if you want to know TensorFlow and PyTorch, so as I mentioned, I have separately designed course for TensorFlow and PyTorch. You should be learning in that, not in this. Uh, this is not a Kickstarter program. This is advanced program. Okay, Python is so slow. I think Python will not be the future of AI. It's a perception, Rakesh, right? Somebody may say slow, somebody may say faster, but if you see from the past 15 years, so Python is the only programming language which is being used mostly in data science or even AI, whatever LLMs you see, those are being built in Python. But you know, underlying language could be C, C++, but C, C++ are very low level language, but Python is a high level language which could be easily used. So Python is being consumed, like 99% of the AI is on Python. Okay. Are these projects are production grade and deploying multi-cloud platforms? Are you covering design, development, deployment, Git, CI/CD? So probably Manohar. So the here, right, we will work through different projects, right? These are all the integral part of those projects, right? Then you would be knowing how you would do know, right? For example, if you are knowing how to write a story, right, we will try to explain you how to write the story, not the uh, vocabulary or the what you call how you frame the sentence or grammar, right? So that you would be knowing. But once while you are writing a story, you would be already using those constructs in your while writing story, right? That is nothing but this course. What is the prereq course? As I mentioned, Python is a must. Okay, you note down if you want. Probably let me write on the screen also. Python basics. You need, so again, don't go and spend 6 months to learn Python alone and come back and try on the AI to learn this one, right? Because AI is moving in a pace that even sometimes very experts. could not able to catch what is being done today after 2 months. That much fast pace AI is growing, right? So just to spend a week or 2 weeks if you are new to it, just learn the basics of it, right? As I mentioned, installations, right? And then how to install module, how to install certain modules, and very basics like variables, right? How you create integers, strings, floats, and all of that. It is very simple in Python. You need not even declare, right? And then conditional statements like if, else, right? Else if, all those things. And then loops, right? And then how you can create a functions, right? I think if you know these topics, more than enough for this course. And then while learning the course, you would know, right? On top of if you know neural networks, because I will be deep diving because this is targeted as an advanced course, right? If you know basics of neural network, it will much more help you to understand what we are doing. But certain modules in this one, right? You need not to know the neural networks also, because this is more or less how you integrate different LLMs in your framework or a workflows, right? There, if you know software engineering or a Java or C++ or C, whatever programming language, you will be much more, it will be much more easy for you, especially Agentic AI. It is specially for software engineer guys. Okay. Once we go through the Agentic AI, you will get to know why I am telling this. Okay. If you are a software engineer already to the core, it will be very easy for you to understand Agentic AI. That is that simple. Okay, let's see any in details. So Deen Dayal we have separated because if you know AI is a version, right? Even my advice is, even somebody claims that I can cover everything in one course, they are bluffing around you just to grab your money. If you want to fall for them, please go ahead. But my advice is, if you want to become an expert in AI, right? You get to know the basics as I mentioned for this course. And then if you want to get to know very deep into the generative and you want to, your target is to create LLMs and tune LLMs, then you go for a specific course on that. Okay. For this course, will I be able to tackle industry level problems? Yes, Santanu. You will be much more advanced to create certain applications by yourself. Whatever you might be creating today, which takes 6 months or so, you could create in a week or 2 weeks. I'm not exaggerating. Absolutely, you can create. You will get to know how come I am this much confident to reduce the timeline from 6 months to a 2 weeks or 3 weeks. Or to, if it is a the problem statement is not that complex, you can create in hours also. What is a full stack generative gen? What is full stack gen? I didn't get your question. Maybe probably it will cover most of generative AI, but please be careful. If somebody is telling I would cover everything in one single course, you might be knowing the on the surface, you might not be knowing the deep details into the specifics AI or generative AI or agentic AI. Okay, because if you know data science and machine learning itself takes 4 months to teach, and if somebody tells you 2 3 months, I will tell you the entire AI. It's up to you. If you are run, if you could run along with that speed, absolutely you can take, but it is very hard to cope up with that speed. I'm working as a Python full stack developer. Can I become absolutely, Nilesh? This is a very apt score for apt course for you, because you could become for full stack Python. No, it will be much more easy for you. It's like a cakewalk or moonwalk. Okay, either module development compact language model, especially for a specific task that can achieve. Yes, achieve accuracy comparable to GPT-5. You know how much amount they spend on GPT-5? Probably they might have spent billions of dollars on GPT-5. And you know there is a company called Turing. That company just prepares the data, nothing. They don't even build model. Okay, if you want to search, you can search Turing. They just prepare data. They earn millions of dollars. Okay, just to prepare data to train these models. Okay, but there are certain models. Probably if you are interested to text to SQL kind of a model. There is a model called DFOG. Okay, so you can go and explore that particular DFOG model. That model inherently gives you the capabilities of text to SQL. You don't even need even a GPT-5. You need not even fine tune. Okay, there are certain open source models. That's why I know this course is very essential for you. Some people who quickly jump to train their model, but you should know, do you really need to train your model, or can you use that model as is? That is very important when to go for that effort, right? Where we deploy model in Azure, AWS or GCP. So we will be deploying our models in any of the platform. Okay, it doesn't matter, right? Because these you will be deploying in a normal like a machine, right? That machine or a VM could be part of your Azure, AWS or GCP. It doesn't matter. My friend is doing Generative Agentic by Shiva Ramakrishna. So what is the difference between you and them? What is meant by advanced with the topics is extra? So the depth of coverage, right? Because I'm not comparing with someone, right, or with my peer, but based on my experience working in AI from past 20 years, I would be covering the applications with the real-time projects or real-time scenarios, right? And we will be covering it deep into each topic. Okay. I'll be working full stack developer in Exaware. Can what skills agents or frameworks need to become a engineer? These are the skills to simply tag you. If you know these topics, you become a AI engineer. And that too, there is a huge difference between AI scientist versus AI engineer. Okay, I would cover in one of the classes what exactly the differences are, because a lot of people getting confused between different profiles also. How can I connect to one and what time? So KK, so in the class, as I mentioned, you can raise the hand, we can connect, and if you need a specific one-to-one, you can, I'll provide my email ID, you can ping there, so we can talk there. Cover time flow. Okay. Okay, we'll come to duration, fees. Yeah, Neo4j, yes, Neo4j will be covered as part of graph database in this one, 3 to 4 months working days, 100 classes. Okay, to use in medicine, will it be harmful as a doctor say? It could be, right? It different. Even I see a lot of doctors searching for the medicine in using AI. Isn't not harmful, isn't it? Right? Who is not using AI these days? Okay, let's go back to our content. Okay, so we'll start from module 11. So MCP. So this is a standard way how you can communicate and create applications. Okay, basically created by the Claude, because Claude was using different mechanism to connect to the LLM to and create applications. Then it became like an industry standard. This is very powerful today. Even big players like a GitHub, Slack, all those things, they are creating their own MCP server, right? Don't worry about these terminologies, because I'm explicitly mentioning these terminologies because these terminologies would be clearly explained and given a proper groundwork, and then I will be giving you all the implementation work. Okay, and then agent to agent communication, because as I mentioned, right? So let's say I want to create a travel planner, right? First you need to, one is a booking ticket, right? Other one is sending an email once you book the ticket, right? Other one could be after you book the ticket, flight ticket, for example, you need to book the ticket of hotel also. Then you can create agent for each task. One is a flight booking agent, one is a hotel booking agent, other one is email sending event agent, right? How these will need to communicate to each other. Like for example, in your organization, you are a developer, there is a tester, there is a manager, right? You create agent for these things, and how these will communicate to deliver a project, right? That there is a specific way how you communicate to each agent, right? That is what the agent to agent communication. So there are different patterns. We will be discussing those patterns. And then these module 14 and 13 are for advanced topics, are those very advanced topics. Okay, how you can fine tune a model, right? And then let's say somebody is telling 185 billion parameter model. Okay, so I don't know whether you would be knowing. For example, so if you don't know this one, you ignore. But if you know, just see how you can calculate a model size. For example, somebody say model 1, okay, having 185 billion parameters. Okay, just simply take this is one value, just to simply say. I'll explain what is this parameter under. So let's say this parameter in a computer language, it should occupy some memory, right? Whatever value it is, it should occupy memory, right? Let's say if it is 32 bit, means it will occupy 32 bit, right? That means 4 bytes. I need not to tell like 8 bits is 1 byte, right? So 8 4s are 32. That's why 8 bytes, right? So now you think if it is 185 billion parameters and each parameter will occupy 4 bytes, and then you imagine one single model how much memory it will occupy, right? And then you need to do the computation on top of it. Okay, that's what the complexity of a model. Okay, now I am telling 185 billion only. Now the models gone into trillions. Okay, 1 trillion, 2 trillion model, 3 trillion models. So you need very advanced machines to hold this model in first place and then do manipulations or a matrix multiplications, right? In my data science course, I take generally one session just to explain what is the essence of matrix. Lot of education from academic they are coming, right? They don't know what is a matrix, what is a vector, what is the difference, why we need to have a matrix, why computers are using these numbers in a matrix form, right? To calculate and then give you the final output, right? All these are essentials are discussed very elaborately in those classes. But to come back to this topic, quantization is nothing but from 32 bit to I will condense each parameter size to only 4 bit. Okay, so rather than taking 4 bytes for each parameter, it will take half byte only, right? So that my model size will be reduced. Then somebody may ask, sir, if you reduce this one, would the model accuracy or model performance will come down? Yes, there are pros and cons. That's what we will be discussing elaborately. What is this quantization? How you do? What different types of quantization? When to use? What kind of a quantization? Okay. And then the model serving and deployment. How do you serve this particular model? Though you have developed the model, but you should know, right, how you deploy this particular model very effectively, so that let's say I receive 1 billion transactions in a day. For example, take NPCI, right? What is our UPI payment, right? They do trillions or billions of transactions in a day, right? To handle that one, not only the size of server will help, along with that, how you set up your program to efficiently run on the same server capacity, right? So there are certain frameworks specifically for LLMs to deploy your models effectively. That is nothing but model serving and deployment we will be knowing. Okay, let me quickly do the recap. Okay, so you will be understanding what is this generative AI and what is agentic AI, what are the differences, and you would be knowing what are the core components of this generative AI and what we are calling these the intelligence coming the brain, which is nothing but LM. How these LMs are getting created, what components are there, what are the building blocks of that, right? And then how to you let's say if there is an existing LM already built, how to consume those things, what are the different parameters or how to consume certain platforms to get those models, right? And then how you control how the model should work is in the prompt engineering. And then there is a for LLM, right? If you ask what is the temperature today, it is not trained, right? The data is not there with LLM because LLM might have trained for last 10 days, means before 10 days, right? It might not have a weather report today. So how to refer that particular latest knowledge and answer for you? That is the simplest example, but this is not that straightforward. There are a lot many components to build such kind of a systems. Okay, and then much more advanced systems as I given you healthcare uh, kind of a use case, right? and then what is a certain databases we use as part of one of the advanced RAG patterns. Okay, and then certain frameworks rather than you writing from the scratch, how the LangChain framework will help you to build such chatbots or different AI applications or use cases, right? And then how to build autonomous applications, right, by using agentic systems. Okay, how they can take the decision also. You need not to give any decision. It will take the decision by itself. How you can build those autonomous systems, right? Once we discuss what is agentic AI, then you would know what exactly I mean to say by agentic AI, which is autonomous. Okay, and then obviously LangGraph, LangChain and LangGraph are two different frameworks. Specifically targeting agentic AI, LangGraph is a target framework. Okay, and then MCP, which is being used to standardize. For example, you and me has to connect, right? We both should know what language we will speak. Let's say if I speak Arabic, would you be able to understand? No, right? Then you say that I don't understand Arabic. Then I say, oh, which language you understand? You say I understand either Telugu, Hindi, or English or some other language, right? That's why we set up some protocol. Protocol is nothing but rule. On what rule we should communicate, right? Then you will say I will understand it Hindi or Telugu. I will communicate to you in Hindi or Telugu, right? Similar kind of a setup we do, and then there are some additional advancements happen on the MCP, what we will be discussing around MCP server and MCP client, and then how different agents will talk to each other. And module 13 and 14 are very advanced in terms of how you will tune your models and then how you deploy those models for your use cases. Okay, this is about the course content, right? And for each module, as I mentioned, on every Saturday, you will be given the assignment for hands-on or a mini project. And then once we finish up certain modules, right, you will be given a project to perform, right? And at the during the course, you can start with the capstones, but these are the different capstone projects what you will be doing as part of this course. You can pick any one, any two, any three, or any four also. Okay, it's up to you how you wanted to build your app, your own application by using different concepts. Okay, so I'll bring up these projects. Once I cover certain modules, I'll be covering which projects to be performed so that you will know when to do which capstone. You could perform all or you could pick up which one to perform. On top of this, I'll be giving certain assignments, certain mini projects or certain hands-on which you must perform during the course so that you will know practically how you can build or enhance your skills what you have learned in the class. Okay, so this is about the course content which I would be sharing with this group, right? On top of it, as somebody was asking, what is the duration of the course and what is the fee for this course, right? So duration of the course will vary from 3 to 3.5 months, right? So plus or minus, right? It could vary. Okay, but you block your time minimum to minimum 3 months. Okay, because we will be deep diving into some of the topics very deep, so that a lot of times I need to address your queries and we need to sometimes we may need to do certain hands-on projects or hands-on assignments, right? And then we may cover your queries also, right? Lot many things are there, so it would take easily 3 months, not less than that. Okay, so these are the high level things. Let me cover your questions now. Can we develop a cursor AI kind of a word IDs? Yes, absolutely. That is what the agentic AI frameworks brings in. Okay, if somebody don't know what is a cursor, cursor is like a one tool. Okay, or a let's say you might have used a Visual Studio Code, right, or Eclipse, or any other platform, right, or a kind of application where you write code, right? He was referring that. So that is fully made with the agentic AI, which will try to write all your code basically. Okay, which vector database is used in enterprise? So that it always depends on the use case to use case, Avinash. There is no specific vector database you use for everything, right? Sometimes if it is a small application which doesn't need a lot of data to be stored, there you can go with the chroma db itself. But sometimes you need enterprise level data storage, there you need to go use for pinecone. Okay, there are different databases or different vector stores, and even that doesn't only belongs to the size of the data. It belongs to the way how you retrieve the data from the database. The algorithm what it use to pull the data also varies from one vector database to other vector database. Fee I have already mentioned. 20, I think, yeah, fees I don't mention. Fee is like a 20K, 20,000 for this course without videos. Okay, and if you need videos to refer back these online classes, live classes as offline videos, you need to pay additional 5,000, so that it will be 25K for you. Okay, 20K is the base fee for this course without videos. If you need videos to refer back, then it is a 25K. Okay, the material, whatever material I would be daily showing in the course, those will be free. Okay, those will stay for you throughout your lifetime. Okay, content, course contents, are the programs, are the different PPTs what I will present during the class, or the notes what I present, those will be available for you lifetime. But the videos what you will pay, those will stay for 6 months with you. Okay, where are the questions posted? So there is a platform called Google Classroom. Let me show you quickly one reference. Okay, so for example, this is the, as you already, once you register for this course, they'll be adding you to a platform like this. Let's say this is not a big deal. So once you have a Gmail account, right? So in this Gmail, you can find this particular classroom. Okay. Once you are assigned to a specific class, for example, I have two batches running, for example. Okay. So one of these batch you can pick up. Okay. Only that batch will be shown for you. Okay. There, whatever classwork I will be assigning, okay, that you could see, right? And then daily updates you would be seeing here, right? Even the our Naresh IT admin team publishes what are different courses are coming in to encourage you to take different courses also, right? Sometimes there are certain what you call workshops which are for free also, right? Those you could join and learn certain things to do the hands-on, right? Those will be published. On top of it, you ask queries either in this classroom, right? Or you can drop me an email as well, or we can discuss within the call also. Okay, there are multiple ways we can connect and we can throughout engage in this course. And then obviously we can ask certain questions also. Do we have access to call recording? Yes, as I mentioned, yes, you could, Archana, you could take that. What is other batch time? Can we join that now? Other batch, you mean to say data science and machine learning? If currently I am taking generative AI, as I mentioned, right? I am working in a very reputed firm at a reputed post. So currently I'm taking this batch. So probably time comes, I'll take a different data science and machine learning batch, but you could join any other faculty course also. Okay, for tester, AI is best to learn. Yeah, if you have a zeal to learn the programming and then how the AI will change or completely how it is change the landscape of the whole IT, right? Then if you are interested, it is 100% welcome to learn AI. Because everybody is moving towards AI, right? Are you helping the job search or on placements? Absolutely, Naresh IT has a very dedicated job assistance programs, right? They do conduct certain exams also to pick up certain uh, talented individuals, and they will give you a specific guidance and then give you a specific assistance to get your desired job. And even sometimes they post certain, let me show you one example. I think recently they have posted, anyway, this is for their own lab, but they sometimes they do post specific job phase, or some companies are coming, they will post here so that you can apply for those specific jobs. Join late, what is the prerequisite? I am currently working in operation areas. Yeah, prerequisites, as I mentioned, probably I will post those prerequisites also separately so that you can quickly look at. But as a quick reference, you need to learn certain basics of a Python. And if you know basics of neural network, then certain advanced topics like the module 13, 14 would be easy for you. And then in the module 2, this topic would be easier for you to catch up. Multi-agentic system is nothing but, rather than creating one single agent, you create different agents. I have already given you some example, right? Let's say if you want to book a ticket, right? That will be flight ticket. That will be one agent. The other agent could be booking your hotel, right? Two agents, more than one agent, multi-agent, right? And not only that, how these two will communicate, right? Let's say if a flight ticket booking is cancelled, but your accommodation is still on, then you lose money, right? Because once flight ticket booking is cancelled, you need to cancel the accommodation also. Then that agent has to communicate with this agent saying, my hotel, your hotel, or sorry, flight ticket got cancelled, you cancel the hotel also, right? That is nothing but multi-agent system, and then that's what we see in this course, how these agents will talk to each other, right? And then is there any, well, in the morning, right now I'm not taking any morning batch. This is the only batch available from my side. So we will be referring certain APIs from Azure or some other platforms, right? For you, Manohar, we will be referring the Azure or OpenAI or Claude APIs. Probably if I miss some questions here and there, I am not sure. Uh, okay, so as we are probably Arif, if you are there, can we take up certain questions like a voice through voice rather than chat? So somebody asked, Vinay, 5 years of education gap from 10th due to financial gap. Yeah, I think Vinay, yes, for you. But to be honest, if you have a less percentage in certain educational background, right? If you are entry level job, then it might be difficult. But if you are lateral entry, that means with the 2 3 years of experience, it would be very easy. Irrespective of your percentage, you will get a tech job. But entry level jobs might be difficult. Okay.
Hello.
Hey, hi.
Thank you so much for this is a wonderful class. Really appreciate going through the brochure and trying to clear our all our questions. Thank you so much, Prudhvi. So
Thank
I
you.
have few questions. One is, are you trying as a part of this training? What kind of tools you know we can use on our Python or anything? I know Python, lot of functions we can pip and we can install. In addition to that, for example, Agentic AI, in
Mhm.
case if I need some tools to use, uh, how do we get those tools?
Okay. So there are certain frameworks or tools or different things I would be covering as part of it. For example, N18, right? LangGraph, Airflow, right? And then we would be covering certain things like AutoGen, Crew AI, right? These are all different things what we'll be going through, right? And then you might need to install specific, for example, majorly I would uh, do a lot of coding in a Visual Studio Code. That is an IDE where you can develop code that you might need, right? Apart from
Yeah,
that,
I already
you
have.
might need these all different frameworks, but don't worry at this point of time, right? Because in vector databases also, I was telling, right, somebody was asking question, what vector database, right? The Chroma DB or some other Milvus DB or Fayaz DB, Pinecone DB. There are a lot many things. So once we cover that particular topic, along with that, I will give you a hands-on session how you could install or get to those tools also. Okay, at this
Okay,
point of
got
time,
it.
you just focus on if you are new to Python or if you're new to the AI, try to focus on basics. Along with the topic, I would cover in detail about each tool and each specific platform or ecosystem.
Yeah, I completed my post graduation from Purdue
Okay,
in AI/ML,
great.
but it's basic concepts I was able to understand. I was working 80 hours and I was sick, so a
Mhm.
couple of concepts I could not understand. That's the reason why I want to take this course,
Okay,
based on two reasons. One is, Gen AI and Agentic AI. I was not. I'm not good in that area at all.
okay,
Python wise, I'm, as you said, C, C++, C sharp. I was embedded software engineer for 14 years, so it's not a problem.
great,
Uh,
great.
but I want to understand, there are two reasons. One is to understand Gen AI and Agentic AI. The
Mhm.
second one is I want to work on a real-time project. I'm in US. I can get a job here,
Mhm.
but I want to work on a real time project in India. I left India 25 years back, so I
Mhm.
had no idea the work culture. So these are the two major requirements from my side. Uh, you know,
Absolutely. By the way, your good name?
Bhagya.
Bhagya. Okay, Bhagya, nice talking to you. I think you will definitely see what is expected from you,
Okay.
especially from this course. Okay, and then definitely we'll be going through certain projects and certain assignments, and then we'll be going through certain capstone projects also.
Awesome. So the capstone project will be starting to end the, to migration or deployment to the end, like either AWS and Azure, right? All that is covered on capstone projects.
Yes, capstone projects basically what we do. We as we cover the course content and give you the hands-on under mini projects, right? Then capstone projects are generally to be performed by the participant, right? And then while they are doing, they might be having a lot of hurdles in performing the project, right? So that time you can you can ask for any queries. Then we will have like a collaborative project what we build as a capstone project.
Okay,
Okay.
got it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Hi, I'm Kamal Kairwar. Can we have a one-to-one?
Sorry, I missed your name.
Kamal Kairwar.
Kamal.
So,
Okay,
yeah,
Kamal.
okay,
Yeah.
Kamal. So
Yeah.
I just wanted to know when we start this course, so how we'll get the practical knowledge? Is there any practical lab facility where we can sit and we can start to coding? Because I know the coding and I'm coming from the data science and machine learning background, but I want to hands-on in AI.
Okay, Kamal. Yeah, so here you need to get your own machine. Okay, but we do have a lab and we have lab assistants also,
Okay.
right? And then I would also be there for certain sessions to do the hands-on along with this whole participants. Okay, as we have a dedicated lab assistant, they will always try to help you out and then try to help you with your assignments. On top of it, if they couldn't able to help you, right? Because the lab assistant might have some constraint, then obviously I'll be there for you to and till the end of the course, even and after the end of the course, you can reach out to me through multiple channels. And we will be creating some Telegram or WhatsApp group. Through that also you can reach out.
Okay. Good to know. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sir, yeah, this is Durga Prasad, and I'm in US actually. I'm working for LabCorp for is a healthcare.
Mhm.
So can we get the knowledge to apply for my healthcare company, or in that way, you are going to explain?
Right. So as you know, right? So this course is mix of multiple domains, but that's why I created different capstone projects targeting different domains also. Predominantly healthcare, right? And then I prepared one in the financial sector, And one, maybe if this is, I have kept it as very generic, because sometimes some requests may be coming in, sir, I am doing in, for example, in retail. So can you cover this in a retail? So we will be picking up this. But for you, so I have already picked up one domain as a healthcare.
Okay. So, and along with this, are you going to cover that Azure AI or any kind of AWS also we have uh,
So
like
this is, as I mentioned, right? So
uh-huh.
while doing a project or covering a certain topic, I might be using certain APIs or cloud platforms as part of that project, but I don't go and cover you how to get into the. Some people may expect how to log into the Azure platform, how to use those specific functions of the Azure platform or AWS platform. That won't be
No, no,
covered.
no. I'm
But
not
as
talking
part
about
of
that
the
ADF and all.
course
Yeah.
project,
Yeah.
yeah, those are implicit parts of my course which you will be getting, and how you could use those components, you would be knowing that.
Yeah. Okay, sir. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Gurunath this side. So, just wanted to understand what are the roles and responsibility are involved in this profile, and apart from this, what are the specific key skills we have to mention in resume or we should target while doing the job search?
Okay. So if you look at this course is specially designed to cater two different roles. One is a scientist who will tune the models, right? Though the responsibility of a scientist who will figure out how to get the better accuracy from the model, right? That's why it is designed like that. The other role which it targets is a AI engineer also. That's where we are building certain agentic AI systems, right? By consuming different APIs or different platforms and then integrate them as a one single application or one single end-to-end framework, right? So it covers both scientist, AI scientist, and then the AI engineer role as part of this course. Okay, and to support job, right? So I think if you know somebody who knows .NET, they would understand the pain. If you say you are a .NET developer, they'll expect you HTML, they'll expect you to do JavaScript, they do Angular, they do backend database, they'll ask everything, right? That's how the industry is. We can't blame the industry. But similarly, if you say I am a AI or a generative AI or agentic AI engineer, right? They expect certain basics on in the machine learning side or a PyTorch or TensorFlow. So you need to learn the ecosystem along with this. Okay, but this, if you know certain basics, as I mentioned, right? This course will take you to the job, and you will definitely get a job as per my experience. Because I see we do interview hundreds of profiles every day. They claim that they know generative AI and agentic AI, right? But we know the lot of basics also they don't know, right? So this will cover you the basics to the very advanced agentic and generative AI. The other ecosystem, I'll be giving guidance on what are the other ecosystems you need to learn along with this. Okay. Any
Hello,
other
sir. Hello.
questions?
Hello. Hello.
Yeah.
Sir, how much? Actually, I'm an embedded engineer. So he's
Sorry.
having.
Okay, you are
I'm an
embedded.
embedded. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So how much experience can we go with this AI?
How much
Experience
experience
can I
we go
keep?
with? Means once
Yeah,
you learn this course, how much with how much experience we
yeah,
can
yeah,
go as an AI engineer?
yeah, yeah.
Is that your question?
Yes, yes, correct.
Okay. If you really dedicatedly follow and you perform the mini project hands on top of it, if you learn something, you can easily go ahead with the 10 years also.
Okay, okay, okay.
But as I mentioned, right, you should know the basics on the ecosystem around this, so that you can claim whatever experience you want basically, but at least you can claim uh, 10 years, 8 to 10 years, as you are already working as some embedded system and you know the ecosystem of how the enterprise or the company works.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Mhm. So just know, Bhagya, one of the participants, Bhagya, is also there, right? I think she's
Mhm.
from embedded engineer.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So can I have her contact, please? Can
I don't know whether I can do it on, but as you are in the same group, you can collaborate with each other and you can work. I don't know. I
Actually,
can communicate the contacts here.
I'm not able to communicate to others. Only to you only I'm
No,
able to
not this
communicate.
one. Once we establish this course, right? Once
Oh,
we get into that, then we will bring in a platform where you all collaborate and work together and execute certain projects based on your
yeah,
interest.
fine, fine. That's better. Mhm. So we need to also know about TensorFlow and PyTorch also,
No, Tensor and PyTorch, as I mentioned, this is not specifically covering the basics of them, but as part of the frameworks, I will be using them here and there.
because I know some basics of the other part like machine learning and statistics part. So
That
PyTorch and
is, to be honest, that is not the part that the explicit part of this course, right?
uh
But the implicit part where I will be using in certain places, because I am to create my LLMs or certain things, I obviously need to use a PyTorch. So that
oh,
I would be covering as part of
okay,
this.
okay, okay. So you'll be
So
covering that the
Ben
middle part.
Anderson, I don't know what exactly you need. Probably you can ask your question. Please allow him to unmute. Okay. I think admin, please allow Anderson to talk. Sorry to cut you off. Sorry, what was your question? Okay. I think we'll take next two questions due to the time constraint. But anyway, we have 3 months to go forward, right? You can keep talking to me. You can keep talking about your real-time projects or your work or your academics, if you are from academics, or you can talk about what pain points you have about your job search, right? And how could I help you out with your job search or certain basics, right? Everything we can keep talking, but I could take next two questions. Don't take me wrong if I could not able to attend your question, but yeah, we keep on talking. Yeah, next, anybody?
Hello.
Hey, who is this?
So, will we able to attend tomorrow's demo class?
Yes, I think
Okay.
next 2 3 days, or I don't know how long they'll allow you to take, but absolutely you can attend the demos class
So
tomorrow.
we'll be beginning with the curriculum tomorrow, right?
Yes, we'll start with this the introduction.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Probably if there are new attendees, if somebody requests that a high level, I'll recap, but we'll get started with this.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So one more probably next to don't know. So next, last but not least, Ben Anderson. I think did they unmute you?
Yeah.
No.
Hello. Hello.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm getting a little bit noise here. Okay, sorry. I apologize for this one.
No
So
problem.
my concern is actually that full stack data scientist and also agentic generative AI and agentic AI and advanced agentic AI, generative AI. So what is the difference between both of them? So I asked you three topics, which is data science, full stack.
Yeah. So generally, data science and machine learning generally deals with uh, let's say it may deal with the structured data or unstructured data. For example, you
Mhm.
have a large sales data in
So,
a
okay.
retail, right? So that
Uh-huh.
time you will be using certain machine learning algorithms. It could be classification, regression, if you know those things. Those will be getting trained on your data, and we do certain model evaluation to figure out whether the model is good or bad, whatever. Right? That is in the data science and machine learning. On top of it, you know how to process your data, what are different techniques, what is the statistics you need to use to understand the data, and then you
Mhm.
train your model. That is a machine learning and data science. Okay. Now coming to
So
the generative
mhm.
AI and agentic AI. So you would be going little further and to understand the neural networks, right? On how
Mhm.
the neural nets will be used or consumed as part of building your model to achieve much more complex use cases. because machine learning use cases might not solve the complex use cases, because as we are growing in the real time projects, there you need to solve a lot of different complex problems where the neural networks has solved those. That's where the generative AI started. And then by using generative AI, right, we create certain of a kind of application to autonomously work by itself and take decisions by itself. Like you might have seen Robo movie, right? How it takes decisions by itself. Somebody need not to tell, go there, get this, get do that, do this and all, right? It can take its own autonomous decisions, right? That is nothing but agentic AI, right? Advanced means you will go little beyond that. Not only build the system, you will try to understand and dissect the complex models, what is there in the complex model. If I need to change something in the complex model, how could I change, right? And how could I deploy these models for a real-time application? That's where the advanced concepts would come as part of this generative and agentic AI. Okay, Vivek, unmute. I don't, sorry, I have a very limited control on the unmute and all. Manohar was asking. Manohar, can you speak? I don't know
Yeah.
whether you're okay.
Hey.
Yeah, please.
Okay. Yeah, Prudhvi. Yeah, thanks for walk through the course content. Yeah. Actually, I have couple of questions. So, right. So you have mentioned that there is some projects in the developing different things, capstone projects.
Mhm.
So these are all like you are we are developing in the local mission in the dev environment. So my question is comes to the agentic AI and generative AI part, right? Real time is different.
Mhm.
So are we using ML ops, and also like nowadays the requirements are not like piece and parcel, like what you are we are discussing about working with LLMs, not like that. So they're asking some different cloud platforms like AWS Bedrock and Azure Cloud Foundry, AI Foundry, and Google Vertex. So they want to come through that. Every client is they don't want to go with their own proprietary LLMs and develop them and do the deploy in that. So are you covering anything here in your course and
Yes.
show that
So that's what
how
I was
the
telling. We would be covering the AI
no,
related platforms. For example, OpenAI and Gemini Studio, AI Studio, right? So these APIs we would be covering as part of using how to consume these LLM APIs, because predominantly the generative and the AI and the agentic AI use these frameworks, right? So the APIs and the frameworks, we would be using that one. And then you will be taken through the real-time application, how you build the end-to-end agentic system, right? Probably scale, we not scale at the enterprise level, because this is for the academic or the education purpose, right? Because to do at the enterprise level, you need a lot of system resource. Like let's say today I'm working on almost 32 GPUs. Okay. Let's say one server can hold 8 GPUs. That is a max capacity today. So one server cost me around 4.5 CR. And imagine if it is 32 GPUs, right? Around around 20 CR or so, because I need the networking and all of that. 20 CR, so I need to build some enterprise application. Okay. So to realistically talk, I hope you are where you are coming from, but to build such application is very expensive. 20 CR and 30 CR
no, no, no,
applications we
no,
are building.
no. So, no, no. That is agree.
Mm,
That is not. We are not building the enterprise deployment production grade. But thing is that what my intention is that my concern is that what I want to be learning in this course is that, right.
mm,
So whatever we are discussing in the class level and this topic wise and developing LLMs and whatever the RAG concepts, everything.
mm,
So if you're going to the interview is something different. So the interview perspective is that they want something to be explain and tell about how you are using it, either Bedrock or whatever the Google Vertex or Gemini or Azure Found, whatever that. So how the production grade application development and deployment and using the Git and Docker and CI/CD pipeline. That's what the story. That's what the story I want to be learn.
Yeah,
Not
so I
not
would be
not.
covering certain part. I absolutely
Okay.
agree with you.
Mm,
Right?
yeah.
These are all the different things in the interview they have been asking. Right?
Yeah.
I'll tell
As
you how to
experience,
handle the
right?
interview also.
Okay.
Probably I'll take
Okay.
certain sessions how you can handle such questions and how you can convert them to come to your own learned patterns or learned concepts. Right? Because taking the interview to your path is one more skill.
Yeah.
Right? I'll guide you on that. Don't worry. How to
Okay.
take it, and then you will get to know how to use certain platforms also, because if you need to know Vertex, which is a Google, and then if you want to know Azure, which is Microsoft, if you want to know some other platform at all levels, because everybody might be using their own cloud platform, right? At least you can be perfect in one cloud platform. You would be knowing how to consume one single platform, right? But if they ask for different thing, how you can bring them to your known facts and known intelligence, and then how to succeed in the interview, I'll take a session on that.
Okay. Yeah, sure. And also, like, the source, what we are using, are you using any databases or only for any files for the development of this one?
So we will be consuming different types of data. In this one, for example, in a RAG, we would be using even web search also we do, even we do the file system, right? And then where do we store the file system is this database little different, which we call as an embedded store.
No,
Okay,
no,
if
that
you
is
know
vector
this concept.
database. No, that is
Mm.
vector data is different. What I'm asking source, like, we are getting directly from the, if suppose we have already have the source, like, Oracle, Teradata and data lake something. So are we sourcing those data and getting the pre-trained LLMs and do the fine tuning and developing a RAG concept something, or how only the loading the source files like PDF
So
files
when
or
you
doc?
come to the NLP based systems,
Mm-hmm.
right? So again, there are different use cases. If you are asking from a database, the use
Mm-hmm.
case could be text to SQL or SQL, generating some SQL queries on top of your database, right? That is a use
Mm-hmm.
case specific. But if you want to do the NLP based, majorly we used unstructured data in terms of a text only.
Okay. So
Okay,
for our
it's not
development, we are
specifically
okay.
connecting to a database to understand your data, because nobody will expose, because LLMs are not trained specifically on the tables kind of a data. Even the text to SQL, it will learn how to generate your query. For example, I say, I want to select employees details from this particular table. They won't give you the data, rather they will give you the query. Let's say this is my NLP statement and this is my query for it. Like that, I have to collect 10,000 samples, right? Then I will give that data to my model to learn how I can generate a SQL statement for a NLP statement or a text statement, right? I don't give data to train my model.
Oh, okay. We are not doing okay.
That
We don't try.
data, whatever you are telling is a usage. Let's say I have generated text to SQL, then it will connect to my Oracle database to pull the query for that particular query which is generated by using my LLM, right? That is
Yeah.
a consumption of your data, not a training of your model.
No,
Those are two
not
different
try.
data sets what we would be
Right.
using.
Yeah, that's right. Not training the LLM, but we are sourcing it from the
Yes,
databases.
yes.
Yeah,
If at
that's what
all
I
we
mean.
build text to SQL, your data would be your database, what it will pull
And
after.
uh, and and last question, right? So if you're using some cloud platforms, either AWS, Bedrock,
Mhm.
so are we covering complete? I mean, using those Bedrock framework to
No, this
build?
part of course, to be honest with you, we are not covering Bedrock. Bedrock is completely a platform how you could develop certain things by using Bedrock, but this we are not covering as part of course content.
So you not go through that Bedrock anything, any
No,
of that.
no.
Okay. So it's only so the deployment where we can do the deployment. If you given that capstone projects, so deploying in our only local machines, just you're showing that.
You can do in your local machine, or so Bedrock is not for deployment. Let's say I have a AWS account. I can take a simple VM. VM is nothing but a machine, right? I can deploy in that particular machine. I could take a GPU machine, or it's a normal machine or a CPU based machine. I can deploy there. I need not to go with the Bedrock. Bedrock is giving the upfront some services which you can easily build certain things, right? They are
Yeah.
inbuilt
No,
models.
that is fully managed service, Bedrock.
Yeah.
So for getting LLMs, what are
So
the
that's what
LLMs like?
managed service we are not handling.
Okay, but where we will be deploy these capstone projects. So are we using any cloud service? I mean ML. I mean only our like running in our local mission and getting the UI front end UI and see the question and answers for the chatbot. What you mentioned there. How
So
does
I
it like?
mean to say this is a platform agnostic.
Okay.
Okay. So there is no dependency with the platform. That's what I have been telling. So you can deploy this in Azure. You can deploy this in AWS. You can deploy this in on-prem. On-prem is in your local machine or in your local server or in your enterprise machine. It's a
Mhm.
platform agnostic solution what we are going to build in this.
Okay, but can you walk through that? How can we can deploy in the managed service also, like creating the YAML files, Docker, CI/CD pipeline, those things will be go through in this course? Any part?
No,
Any part of this course?
that will be part of MLOps, which will be separately discussed in a different course. This is not,
Oh,
that MLOps
okay,
is not part of this course content.
okay, all right. Thank you.
Okay, so with the interest of time, we'll close this session today, but we'll be discussing much more detailed course, and then maybe we'll start with one topic, right? And then you can keep coming with your questions. So I'll be keep covering your questions and then giving you some suggestions on the job or whatever. Just to close with this session. So this session will be at the same time, 8 to 9:30 every day. As I mentioned, it will be plus or minus 10-15 minutes, as this is the first session and we are showing a lot of N2 to know a lot of details. We extended, but generally we'll close around 9:45 hours or max. Okay. And then as I mentioned, Monday to Friday classes, Saturday we'll be having a working session or assignment session. Assignments you need to perform on that day. So you can use the same Zoom link to join tomorrow also. Whenever there is a change in session, right? Then the admin team will inform you. If there is any change in Zoom session, Zoom link or whatever, they will let you know. Yes, I will submit this course content to the admin. Admin will share with all of you the course content. Okay, thank you all. If you are in India, good night. If other locations, good morning. Bye for now. So let's catch up tomorrow.